Great Expectations recounts the life story of a humble orphan boy named Pip, a somewhat lonely child grown from out of the mystic marshes of Kent. Following the turmoil that defined his Christmas holiday dinner, he becomes irrevocably bound by a single if-shattering encounter. His fated introduction to the child girl Estella, the shimmering star that would come to guide and torment his very existence. This isn't merely the meeting of two children. It is the conjunction of destiny and design, a moment orchestrated by the withered spectral hand of Miss Havisham to serve the purposes of her bitter revenge against men. Pip's advent into the crumbling grandeur of Satis House is truly Gothic. A descent from the raw elemental world of an ironworker's forge and the vast marshes, into the timeless, dust-shrouded chamber where a decaying bride awaits, eternally stalled on her wedding day. The air is thick with the scent of old silk and forgotten sorrow, and there is Estella. Not simply a girl, but a vision rendered in chilling porcelain and brilliant light. Pip recalls her condescension, but his soul had been lost, ensnared by her dazzlingly cruel beauty. Her first words, the stinging pronouncements of his coarse hands and his thick boots, do not repel him. They ignite within him the fierce, unyielding flame of dissatisfaction. Her scorn is the catalyst for his great expectation, the deep and consuming desire to become a gentleman worthy of this exquisite, unattainable creature. She is the frosted prism through which he comes to view the reality of his own life as a source of shame, the icy muse of his future ambitions. The journey of their relationship is an excursion into the realms of agonizing proximity and emotional distance. As Pip's fortunes tend to increase, propelled by the force of some secret unknown benefactor, he assumes the mantle of a gentleman that he believes Estella will desire. He trades the honest clang of the hammer for the polished halls of London, yet every step closer to Estella's social sphere is a step further into delusion and heartache. Estella is a flawless weapon forged in the fires of Miss Havisham's wounded heart, and she is brutally honest in her cruelty. Her warnings are consistent. "I have no heart," she says to him. "I have no softness there, no sympathy, sentiment, nonsense." She is the moon, luminous and capable of governing the tides of Pip's emotions, yet she is utterly cold and incapable of generating warmth herself. She's been taught and given permission to break Pip's heart, and thus, he is the first and most treasured trophy of this grim education. His evolution and growth becomes a painful and slow-motion undoing, and his expectations poison the well of his virtues. He treats Joe and Biddy, his kindest benefactors, with a cutting edge, believing their simple affection inferior to the grand toxic prize that is Estella's love. Clinging to the baseless fantasy that Estella's destiny is tied to his mysterious wealth, Pip overlooks the chilling reality that she cannot, in fact, love him at all, because she's never been allowed to learn how. Estella's decision to marry the brutal and boorish Bentley Drummle becomes the pivotal and heart-rending moment in their parallel yet divergent life paths. This act shatters the last of Pip's illusions. It is a stark reminder that Estella's choices are often self-destructive, driven by a cold sense of duty, even convenience, completely detached from the aspect of genuine affection. Pip observes the glittering star of his life commit herself to a dark, unyielding void, an act that speaks to the desolation of her own internal emptiness and her tragic conditioning. These two are the victims of a single corrosive scheme, where Pip has become enslaved to the ideals of social class and Estella, imprisoned by the want of love in her heart. The triumph to be found in their story will not be found in a facile happily ever after, but in the purifying fires of their respective sufferings. They are the living embodiment of the novel's most profound critiques on society and human nature. Theirs is a narrative filtered through the corrosive lens of class aspiration. Pip's entire existence has been distorted by the belief that worth is measured by worldly position and a fine set of clothes. Estella is herself a product of a manufactured identity, a diamond whose brilliance has been soured by the soils of moral corruption. Their relationship is an indictment on a society where gentility might be bought, but true goodness, like that which can be found in Joe's honesty and in Biddy's kindness, is often scorned. The journey forces Pip to learn that the expectations that matter are not those of wealth and title, but those of integrity, compassion, and self-awareness. Pip and Estella's final encounter in the Satis House garden underscores our thematic climax, as Estella comes to admit to her sorrows and her painful transformation. Earnestly, she says to Pip, "Suffering has been stronger than all other teaching and has taught me to understand what your heart used to be." Both have been stripped bare of the artifice that defined their youth. The bitter lesson of their shared experience is that true value is found not in external expectations, but in the humility and empathy born of personal pain and honest reflection. Estella and Pip come to stand as monuments to the destructive powers of societal aspiration, foiled by the redemptive potential of the human spirit. Their story is a majestic, if melancholy, symphony played out against the backdrop of a broken world, reminding us that the greatest expectation one can hold is that of becoming oneself, authentically, and with the heart intact. Booktime Learning is dedicated to the study of writing and literature. If this video has been helpful or enjoyable in any way, please consider clicking the like button and/or subscribing. And thank you for watching.